Hi guys, if you're tuning in, we're here in the Flinders Ranges, located in South Australia, about a 450 kilometre drive north of Adelaide. In this series we've been exploring both the southern and now central parts of the ranges. If you missed the last episode, we picked up the van in Adelaide, battled through some wild weather, explored the heritage town of Laura, and took an epic hike through Alligator Gorge. Check out the link below to see that one. We pick up this episode from our campsite at Rawnsley Park Station, located just outside Wilpena Pound. From the station lookout, you can see the outer wall of the pound, an enormous oval-shaped sandstone range. This section is known as the Rawnsley Bluff, and you can even hike to the top if you're keen. The scenery here is nothing short of spectacular. Rawnsley Station also offers daily scenic flights over Wilpena Pound if you want to take in those aerial views from above. Sadly, that wasn't in our budget this time, but we still managed to get some of our own aerial shots from just outside the flight zone. From that epic viewpoint, we continued on north, passing the massive motorbike tour along the way. Before arriving at the Wilpena Pound Visitor Centre, we grabbed our park pass for the next couple of days and checked in for our campsite. You can also buy your park pass online if you prefer. Not far from the entrance road, we spotted a couple of emus wandering through the open plains. They're often seen around this area. We made our next stop at Hucks Lookout for a quick cuppa and to soak in more of those rugged mountain views. Further north, we began the climb up the steep dirt road to Stokes Hill Lookout. It's a short but seriously steep drive straight up, the kind that makes you hope no one's coming the other way, but the reward at the top is well worth it. The views here are incredible. You really get a sense of how vast the ranges are. And at the top, there's a display explaining the spiritual significance of the land to the Aboriginal people, including some of their dreamtime stories about the creation of these ranges. The Flinders stretch for over 400 kilometres. They're some of the oldest mountain ranges in the world, shaped by hundreds of millions of years of erosion and uplift. Looking out from the ridge, the folded rock formations tell the story of when this whole area was once covered by an ancient sea. Those reds and ochre colours make this landscape so unmistakably South Australian. The van handled the road with ease, so I'm sure any car can make it up there. We then pressed on to Blinman, South Australia's highest town, famous for its old copper mine. Unfortunately, we just missed the last tour of the day, so that's one for next time. Instead, we ducked into the Blinman Hotel for a classic country pub feed and a cold beer. And lucky we were hungry, because we ordered a burger and their famous meat pie, and both looked massive when they came out. The pie was huge, served with chips and a pot, topped with those nice crispy sweet potato pieces. The mince filling underneath was a bit plain if we're honest, but it definitely filled the spot. The burger was your classic Aussie style one, beetroot, egg, the works. A proper pub meal and exactly what you want after a dusty day on the road. After chatting with a few fellow travellers, we were told that the road through Brachina Gorge was in good condition, so off we went. And wow, the scenery did not disappoint. And it wasn't long before we spotted the yellow-footed rock-wallaby, the largest of the wallaby species, and sadly, near threatened due to habitat loss. They're such beautiful animals, with the striking colours and that distinctive white stripe under their eyes. They blend in so well with the rocky cliffs that you can easily miss them during the day. But if you're here around dawn or dusk when they're the most active, you've got the best chance of seeing them hopping around. Deeper along the track, the road became even more bumpy. With those stunning walls either side, we ended up stumbling across another Aussie favourite. An echidna. Not endangered, but definitely shy and rarely seen. This little guy was totally focused, waddling along and busily searching around for ants, as if we weren't even there. It's interesting to notice the differences between echidna populations across Australia. The one here in the Flinders had quite long spines and relatively short hair compared to others we'd seen. But despite the differences in looks, he was still a little clumsy, just like the others, which makes them one of our favourites. Among the low bushes, we also spotted a few Australian ringnet parrots, flashes of green and blue as they darted between the branches of the bush. As the sun began to set, we made our way back to Wilpena Pound to settle in for the night. We booked an unpowered campsite, and apart from a nearby school group, it was a peaceful spot surrounded by nature. After dinner, just around the campsite, we were lucky enough to spot something truly special, the Western Quoll. These quolls were once extinct in this region, but thanks to a successful reintroduction efforts, small populations have been established again, along with the brush-tailed possums. Their former range once covered much of mainland Australia, and it's incredible to see them making a comeback here. Back at the campsite, just around the camp kitchens, we caught the quoll running up and back. Unfortunately, it's a bit blurry on the camera, but it was still such an amazing sight to see him in action. If you're patient, you might also catch a glimpse of the brush-tailed possums, adding another cute nocturnal visitor to the evening. The next morning, we cooked up a big bacon and eggs breakfast, ready to tackle one of the walking trails into the pound. First, we checked the trail information signage, studied the map and the route we wanted to take, then we signed the hiker's book just in case we got lost, before setting off on the trail. Not too far in, we spotted a pair of ringneck parrots again. These two were so cute, with one of them doing a funny little dance.
I got him.
Plenty of other birds joined us along the way too. As we continued on the trail, we came across old relics from both the Aboriginal habitation and European settlement, reminders of how long people have lived and worked this land. The early settlers cleared large areas for sheep and cattle farming, forever changing the landscape. With a steep final push to the top, we reached Wangara Lookout, and we were rewarded with incredible panoramic views across Wilpena Pound. After taking it all in, it was time to start the journey back to Adelaide. Our campsite in Wirrabara was great value, brand new amenities, powered sites, and only $25 a night. And what an evening this one was turning out to be for our final night on the road. We took a little evening stroll through the town, admiring some artwork, an old steam locomotive, and some of the heritage stone buildings from the 1800s. Wirrabara was once a busy timber town, and many of those old sawmill buildings and cottages still stand today, giving the town a rustic charm as the sun set behind the hills. The next morning, we stopped by the Wirrabara Old Bakery, famous for its fresh bread and classic country pies. As usual for me, the hardest part is picking a sweet, but I went with the South Aussie classic, the Echidna bun. We also picked up a couple of pies. We started off with their potato pie. This is always a bit hit and miss for me. I prefer the ones with chunky steak pieces, which this didn't have unfortunately. Reasonable overall. Our second pie was their popular Thai green curry pie, which sounded interesting, but they didn't quite pull it off. And finally the Echidna bun, with its fresh cream, jam, and a donut. What's not to love? Worth a stop if you're in the area. Being out here in the camper van, Exploring the Flinders Ranges up close has been a really special experience. Seeing these landscapes every day, spotting wildlife, and just living on the road like this. It's an experience we'll remember for a long time. It's hard to believe how quickly the trip has gone, and that soon that we'll be back home again. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and we'll see you again in the next one.